Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest. I am Marco, your host, and I am very excited today because I have Chriselle from Delightful Little Events. Welcome, Chriselle.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, I'm very excited to work with you and to have you as a guest. We have to show off a little bit. The last time that we worked together, we won an award.
Yes, we did.
It is always so nice to work with you. You are so easy to get along with. It's always smiling and laughing and joking.
I feel the same way. Thank you.
So thank you.
Yes.
But so let's tell our listeners, like, what do you do? How long have you been in business?
Sure.
Give us all the details about your company.
Wonderful. So I'm with Delightful Little Events. I actually started my business in 2010. Been doing events and things such before. Just noticed that I had a niche for organization, had a niche for decorating, had a niche for planning, and decided to open the business in 2010. So it's been official ever since then. And so we do planning of all kinds of events, big and small. We named our business Delightful Little Events, and nothing we do is really little. But we do all kinds of events, everything from baby showers to weddings, quinceañeras, corporate events, you name it, we've got it.
I love it. So today we're going to be talking about wedding dates.
Yes.
I mean, after you say, yes, I want to marry you, then there's a lot that comes after that. And one of the most important things, it's picking the wedding date.
Picking a date,
It's
yes.
crazy. I mean, there are so many. I mean, I've been in business, up for 10 years now.
Yes.
And it's always, I think with the photo booth, it's always different because we're normally the vendor that gets booked towards the end of the process.
Right.
But I would say, I think there's only been one time that a bride told me, and she's like, Marco, you are the first vendor I book. I don't even have a venue yet, which I felt so good because she had been following our account for the longest time. And then, and she was like, I want to make sure that I have you.
That's
Awesome. I don't
awesome.
want anybody else. I want you at my wedding. So you're my first vendor, and then we'll worry about the rest. And I was like, oh, well, thank you.
Love it. What an honor.
As long as they had a date, I'm good.
Right.
When it comes to the venue, of course, we want to make sure that we have all the information, the location, and all of that. But as
Right.
long as the date is set, we're okay booking the client.
Right.
So in this case, selecting the date is a crucial moment and decision for your big day.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts? What have you seen? What are the trending dates that couples normally look for? Give us the good, the bad, the popular ones, the not so popular ones, the good, the pros, the cons. Talk to us about that.
Okay. Fun topic. So I'll start by saying I think here in San Antonio, it has a lot to do with the seasons. Because we really don't have seasons like you do in other places. I feel like people are very, they lean towards either the spring or the fall. And that is actually our busiest time. During the summer here in San Antonio, it is very hot. Most venues allow for outdoor weddings, and that's most of our brides and grooms have that vision to have an outdoor wedding. So I will tell you spring and fall are very popular here in San Antonio. Popular dates, we always have our traditional popular dates, things like Christmas, New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, maybe Memorial Day weekend in May is a big one for us as well. So I would say dates like that. And when you go into actual holidays, of course, you have to be careful because you want to make sure that your vendors are available. Some vendors block off that time. Some of them charge a little more. You want to make sure that the vendors are available and also your venue. So I would say popular seasons are going to be the spring and the fall in our case. October, for example, it's a very big month for us. We're booked with 1, 2, and even 3 events in one weekend. So October is a very big date. November, you start running into family time and Thanksgiving and things like that. Picks back up in December. And then when you turn that corner of a new year, people, newly engaged or they've been through the planning process. And so March and springtime is another big time as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. For us, I mean, my track record shows that April for me, it's a very popular month. Like,
Yes.
it is so wild.
Yes.
To me, April, I think October, November, and December
Yes.
are my craziest months. The summer, it slows down a little bit because, I mean, who wants to get married outside in San Antonio or Austin or,
No.
the hill country?
Correct.
It is so hot. But I have done summer weddings outside, and trust me, it has been hell.
Bless you. Bless you.
And the funny thing is, it's most of the time it's an indoor outdoor.
Correct.
As most of the venues here in San Antonio, it's or Austin, they're indoor outdoor.
Correct.
So one of the things that I've noticed that people like to do, it always happens, with us with the photo booth company, they want to have the wedding inside, but then they want to put the photo booth outside, and I'm like, girl. Mm-mm.
I'm anti the photo booth outside.
I'm like, no. I'm like, if you want to get the most out of your photo booth, you need to put it inside where the wedding is happening.
Absolutely.
Your people are not going to want to come outside. I mean, they might come out once, take a photo, but then they're never going to come back because
Right.
they're going to be sweating. They're going to be looking rough.
Right. That part.
Yeah, but I guess, like you mentioned, like the fall, the spring, really popular dates here in
Right.
Central Texas. Mm-hmm. When it comes to a holiday wedding, you did mention, of course,
Mm-hmm.
some of the vendors take time off. Of course, they block it off.
Right.
Some of the vendors are gonna charge more.
Right.
And then also you gotta think about traveling expenses. Like I feel like. I mean, it gets pretty pricey.
It does.
I remember I had a wedding one time, which was a New Year's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they reached out to me, I sent out a proposal, and my quote was a lot higher than what I would normally charge for just any other date.
Right.
And, of course, one of the first questions that I got from the client was like, well, why is it so, higher than other companies that I reached out to? And I was like, well, girl, honestly, because it's New Year's Eve. If I'm gonna spend it somewhere working, it better be worth it.
Absolutely. It's a premium date.
I'm walking away from my family celebrations to go work an event. So, or if it's not me personally, I'm taking my staff, my team members,
Right.
Away from their families to go work the event. So I have to make sure that I pay them enough
Right.
for them to say like, yeah, we're available to work.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, I get it. And honestly, and of course, I mean, I know that she knew it was going to be more because I'm sure the venue charged more.
Correct.
I'm sure the band charged more. I'm sure everybody else charged more.
Correct.
But I guess she just wanted, I guess she was just asking every single vendor the same question just to see if she would get it lower.
Right.
But I was like, girl, I'm sorry. I can't give you a discount on New Year's Eve.
No. That's a premium date.
Yeah. I think another one, I don't think I've ever done an actual Christmas wedding. But I have done like a 4th of July wedding. I think I've done also, like you mentioned, like the memorial or like
Right.
the, what's the other one in September? The
Labor Day.
Labor Day, yes. I always get those two confused.
I know. Me too.
But okay, so you personally, have you ever worked a New Year's Eve wedding?
I have.
And how did that go?
I actually had a lot of fun. It was a couple who had, it was not a very big wedding, maybe about 60 to 80 guests, but it was very fun. They made sure that if people were going to spend New Year's Eve with them at their wedding, that they pulled out all the stops within the details. So the entertainment, the food, the types of, they even played games and did things and had really nice, cool things to give the guest when it came to midnight and things like that. So it was actually a very fun wedding. I too charged a little more because I feel, and even though I don't do too much for New Year's, but if it's going to pull me away from my family, and it's not a day that I particularly like to be out, driving or being out in the wee hours of the morning, I make sure that, my team and I are compensated. But it was actually a very, very, very fun wedding.
They are fun because when I ended up working that wedding that I was just talking about, so it was me. I didn't really send anybody out there to work. It was me, and then I had a friend visiting from Chile. And she was like, you know what? She's like, I'll work it with you. She's like, I've already spent Christmas with my family. I came to visit. I spent Christmas with them. She's like, but now I kind of want to get away from them a little. so she's like, and I'm sure it's going to be fun and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so she worked the wedding with me and it was fun. Yeah, like it's so different from regular weddings. On any other day, like there's so many different things that they do because of course they want to make sure that the guests are having fun.
Correct.
So so the couple make sure to have extra entertainment or activities for the guests to have a good time because it's a holiday, but I feel like New Year's is not as like, oh, I have to be with the family as like Christmas or like, another like Easter or like any other like, like holiday that it's more like family oriented.
Right.
I think New Year's is more like party. Like, let's go out. Let's have fun.
Celebrate. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's a wedding on New Year's Eve, I think it's a good date, But yeah, if you want to spend the extra money, then definitely go for a New Year's wedding.
Right. And maybe keep it intimate so that you can afford all your vendors.
Exactly. This year I actually had a New Year's Day wedding.
Wow.
It was not a New Year's Eve. It was a New Year's Day.
Okay.
Which I thought it was very interesting. I was like, normally people go for the 31st.
Right.
But they went for the 1st of January. I guess they wanted to party on New Year's Eve, and then they wanted, they took advantage that everybody else was in town for the actual wedding on the 1st. So that was cool.
Plus, it's a great way to start the year.
Exactly. Yeah. Start with a bang.
Start with a bang. I love it.
Another date. Let's say, for example, of course, we went into spring and fall.
Right.
And then, of course, we talked a little bit about the summer. Mm-hmm. So, for example, here in San Antonio or just Central Texas in general, rain season. Oh my goodness. Yes. Have you ever had a wedding where, they picked a date and, it was going to be indoor, outdoor. And then, of course, weather in Texas, you know how it is. You can wake up to a hot day and then midday is raining and then afternoon it's cold and then at night it's hot again. Have you ever had to go through that?
I have, where you actually have to go through your whole wardrobe. I actually had a wedding for a couple. The week before their wedding, it was a spring wedding in March. Week before their wedding, gorgeous weather. We had that nice little, 70, 65 degree type of breeze. All of a sudden, the day of their wedding, it gets super cold and it starts raining. And it was off and on rain to where it would rain and then the sun would come out and we're thinking, okay, we're going to be okay. And then the clouds would come back and it would pour. And it ended up it was one of those things where we decided to take a risk and we decided to go ahead and keep it an outdoor ceremony. Everything was fine. The minute everybody got down the aisle, the procession had happened. The minute the bride links arms with her dad, despite the sun, it started raining. So at that point, it's too late to transition. You just have to flow with it. Luckily, in our emergency kit, we had a really cute umbrella that we had used for a styled shoot. So we brought it out and let her walk down the aisle with it. And it actually made for beautiful photos.
Wow.
But it was one of those things where it's so stressful because you see her going down the aisle. She's, her dad's drenched. The groom is at the altar and he's kind of drenched and it's too late to do anything.
Oh my goodness.
So it happens.
Yeah. it is so crazy. And sometimes it's sad because, you spend so much money. Sometimes you plan your wedding for 2 years.
Yes.
And then for, you try to pick the perfect date and then weather just comes in and messes everything up.
Yep.
I was going through a TikTok the other day and I saw a video of a wedding and it started pouring. And they made the most of it. And the video and the photos from the wedding look stunning.
Wow.
Like everybody just embraced the rain.
Uh-huh.
They had fun with it. And those photos look so good.
Wow.
Like I'm sure they were bummed at the beginning. But then once they saw and they noticed that, hey, let's just go with it. Let's have fun.
Right.
And then I'm sure when they saw those photos, they were like, wow.
Yes.
Like, I'm just glad it rained.
Yes. And it's important, I think, when you talk about situations like this, it's important when you're picking your vendors to pick vendors who are seasoned, who have kind of gone through these things here and there. In my particular case, my photographer rocked that photo shoot. And kind of, the bride and groom, everybody else kind of ran inside, but the bridal party, the bride and groom, they embraced the rain. They played with it. Those pictures are so beautiful. So kind of just like the video you talked about, I'm sure, they just made the best of it.
I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to be depressed, start crying. And
right.
I mean, you just got to go with it.
You
you already spent the time, you spent the money. You want to make sure that your wedding is perfect.
Yes.
And even if there's a little rain, who cares? Just have fun with it, enjoy it, or maybe just pick a different date.
Hey.
From the very beginning.
That part too. That part. Have fun with it is my choice.
Yeah. So what would you say, for example, for you, just personally, what would you say are your top 3 wedding dates? That if you were to get married all over again, what would be your top 3 picks for a wedding date?
So top 3 picks for me would probably be, I would say October, I would say March, and I would probably throw April in there because April's still teetering. It's not too hot, not too cold, but we still are dealing with cold fronts. I'm a weather girl. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to sweat. So I'm looking for dates where it's going to be cool. So for me, it would definitely be October, March, and probably April.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think those are really good months. I think for me personally, I feel like I would love a November wedding.
Yes.
I think I sweat a lot, even if I'm inside. Like right now, it's cold in here.
Right.
But I feel like if with the lighting and all that stuff and the moving around at a wedding, for example, like I would hate to be sweating, especially because you're layered. You have your tuxedo or whatever.
Right.
You want to make sure that you feel comfortable. So I think for me, November would be a perfect date.
Date.
Perfect month.
Right.
I guess maybe like the second week of November. Just to be on the safe side.
That's a good date. And because you're always snazzy in your dress attire, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh my goodness. So another thing is, so we obviously, we talked about what would be like a popular month.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the month that you would say absolutely not? Like I would, not for me.
I have 2.
Okay.
So for me, it would probably be August.
Okay.
Because of the heat. And the other one would be December. I really enjoy the Christmas season. I love, for me, the fall. Everything September through December is amazing. And so, but for me in December, I like to be I don't like to do very much. I just like to enjoy. I like to watch Hallmark and drink hot chocolate. And so for me, December's a month that I try not to do very much.
Okay. And funny thing that you mentioned December right now. Like for us, normally December with the photo booth, we're always so busy with corporate events.
Company
all the
parties.
holiday parties.
Yes.
But for some reason, this year in 2024, we have so many weddings already in the books for December.
Wow.
So I already know that December for us is going to be crazy this year because, of course, we have all these weddings already booked. And then right now, time of this recording, which is what are we? October? Oh my God. It's already October.
Yes.
It is already October. So for us, all the holiday parties are already coming in.
Correct.
So December this year is going to be insane for us.
Wow.
So definitely no Hallmark movies for me this December.
No Hallmark movies and hot chocolate.
I know. But oh my goodness. Well, this has been fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank
I
you.
definitely want to have you back.
Wonderful.
And then I guess let our listeners know, where can they find you on social media or like online in general? How can they get to you in case that they wanna hire you for their wedding planning?
Wonderful. So, of course, we're on Instagram. We're at Delightful Events. We're on Facebook as well, Delightful Little Events. Or you can find us on our website, which is www.dlesa.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chriselle.
Thank
As
you,
always, a
Marco.
pleasure hanging out with you.
Same.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And every week we have different vendors. So if you know anybody that's getting married, make sure that you let them know about the tipsy guest. Or if you're the one getting married, then of course, send us a message, or send us a DM, visit our website, send us an email. Let us know what topics you want us to cover. Or if you have a favorite vendor, let us know who, and we'll make sure to reach out to them. If we haven't had them here at the Tipsy Guest, maybe they can be on next. Thank you so much. Until next time, cheers. Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.